And thank you, Alex Jones, for having me as a host on the Alex Jones Show today. It's an honor and a privilege. And what I'm going to do today, Mike and everyone, is what we do every day for subscribers to the Trends Journal. And that is from Monday to Friday, we do Trends in the News. So we're going to start off with today's Trends in the News, talking about gold. Because, you know, gold is golden. It's been around for civilizations, and it still makes a big difference of what's going on. And gold prices today have bounced up as I speak, about $24, $25. This is a very important mark, by the way, as a trend forecaster. It's very important that gold stays above the $1,400 mark, as it is right now. So it really determines where gold is going to go over the short period and long term if gold stays above this crucial point. Now, why is gold going up today? Well, the news is that manufacturing numbers fall, unexpectedly drop, according to Bloomberg. Most U.S. stocks fell, leaving the Standard & Poor's 500 index at its lowest in nearly 3 weeks after manufacturing unexpectedly contracted in May, indicating industry will provide scant support for the economy. So what's the other side of that? More Qs, QE1, QE2, QE3, QE to infinity. So that's what we're seeing. That's why gold is going up, because there is no recovery. It's an artificial recovery. It's an interest rate recovery, as I call it. Look, in the old days, when I was a kid, people used to put money in the bank, and they used to retire on the interest that they got from it. That's right. That's ancient history in Slavelandia, the new name for America, the merger of state and corporate powers. And now it's the USA, China. That's what's really going on over here. So going back to interest rates, there aren't any. You put your money in the bank, the banksters make the dough, and you get nothing for return. So what does that mean? You're forced to speculate in the equity markets. That's one of the other reasons the equity markets are going up. People have no place to put their money. So it's an interest rate recovery because interest rates are at historic lows. We're celebrating the 100th year of the Federal Reserve taking over the country. That's right, the Federal Reserve Act in 1913, 100 years ago, gave them the power to regulate and control the supply of money. Now they've regulated to the point where they just keep pumping the money in. Stimulus, of course, is white shoe boy language for printing cheap money. And the other thing is low interest rates. So gold is going up because manufacturing is going down. There is no recovery. It's only temporary, an interest rate recovery. And what's boosting it is home sales. And the construction industry on one end, again, only temporary. Construction spending level edges higher in April. Now remember, it's only edging higher in April after record low interest rates. Total construction spending registered a small gain in April. Surging home and apartment construction, volatile private non-residential activity, and shrinking public investment brings the whole report around. New apartment and home construction were the standouts. Okay, here's the deal. New apartment construction. That's because people can't afford to buy a home. Yeah, that's right. Because young people, back in the old days, when they got out of college, they didn't have $30, $40, $50, $60, $70,000, $100,000 in debt. Yeah, they could buy homes. But now, of course, all the jobs that are coming out stink. Here's a story from the exchange. The real reason millennials don't buy cars and homes. Well, the percentage of 16 to 24-year-olds with driver's licenses dropped sharply since 1997 and is now below 70% for the first time since 1963. You know why they can't buy cars and they're not buying them? They got no dough. The jobs stink. Here, look at the numbers here. I'm not making this up. Wealth from economic recovery has gone to the richest Americans. Top 1% got 93% of income growth as rich-poor gap widened. Oh, this story came out on Saturday when no one was paying attention. Saturday is the least followed news day of the week. And this isn't from a communist paper. It's from Bloomberg. Yeah. Since it goes on, the numbers are right here. The 1.2 million households whose income put them at the top 1% of the U.S. saw their earnings increase 5.5% last year, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. So this isn't like, a lefty organization making these numbers up. While earnings fell 1.7% for the 96 million households in the bottom 80%. Those that made less than $101,583. In 2010, the top 1% of families captured as much as 93% of the nation's income. The earnings gap between rich and poor Americans was the widest in more than 4 decades in 2011. Now, check this out. Like when you're walking down the street or you go into some of these supermarkets, and man, Madone, it really looks bad out there. When you look at some of the people, your eyes are telling you the truth. Here, now remember, this is from the Census Bureau. Census data shows surpassing income inequality previously reported in the United States is surpassing income inequality previously reported in Uganda and Kazakhstan. All right? I've never been to Uganda or Kazakhstan, but I know, they're not at the top of the pyramid when it comes to quality in life. And neither is the United States. Even the meandering economy generated 4.6 million private sector jobs since February 2010. Almost 40% of them were in the fields of hospitality. Don't you love the word hospitality? That means making somebody's bed in a hotel. It means room service. It means waiting on tables. It means jobs that pay crap while the fat cats keep getting fatter and everybody else keeps getting poorer. Temporary staffing, where the average wage is below $15 an hour. About 11.7% of middle-income families owned stock in 2010, down from 14% in 2007. So when they're talking about a rising stock market, the money's only going to the top. Although U.S. consumer spending climbed to its highest level in 4 years in August, according to the Gallup survey, it still lags 2008 levels by more than 20%. And what are people buying? Hey, have a lovely time at Family Dollar because that's all you have to spend. It just keeps getting worse. From 1979 to 2007, about $1.1 trillion in annual income shifted to the top 1% of Americans. So there you got it. Those are the numbers. The numbers don't lie, but the people that are saying that there's a recovery, they're lying. As a matter of fact, making fun of the gold news is none other than Nouriel Roubini, who they call Dr. Doom. He says that gold prices really don't make a difference because, after all, gold isn't a medium of exchange. You know, you could store it, but it's really not a unit of wealth that you can exchange for product and services. He says you can't buy groceries with it. Tell that to the Iranians and tell it to the Chinese, because you know why? They're exchanging oil for gold. Get it, Nouriel?
Hello, this is Hank Hill, and I'm telling you what, you need to listen to Alex Jones.
Yeah. Infowars.com.
I judge, what is the secret of the universe?
Infowars.com.
So, as I was saying, gold. I'm in gold for the long term. I want to make this perfectly clear. I don't call tops or bottoms. This is an interest rate recovery all over the world. The Japanese with their stimulus, the Europeans with their stimulus, all over the world, they're pumping in cheap dough. And as I say, here's the quote from Nouriel Roubini. Gold is not a means of payment. You cannot pay for your groceries with it, nor is it a unit to account. You can't buy prices of goods and services are not denominated in gold terms. Again, tell that to the Iranians and the Chinese. I think the Persians and the Chinese, by the way, have been around a lot longer than Nouriel Roubini. Gold is real, and when times get tough, gold for me is what to have in your hand. You know, Gerald Celente's GC's 3Gs, guns, gold, and a getaway plan when it hits the fan. Hey, from Al Jazeera, Iraq sees deadliest month since 2008. UN Chief's representative urges an end to the bloodshed as toll of civilians and security personnel cross 1,000. Hey, remember all of those people that said, hey, Iraq is a better place without Saddam Hussein, and it was worth the war? You know, the $1 trillion spent and the million people killed, plus our soldiers that have lost their lives, limbs, and their minds. Here, check out this video. Look what these psychopaths said.
I think the removal of Saddam Hussein was the right decision.
We are safer, more secure, that Iraq is better, but our own security is better. With Saddam and his two sons out of power and out of office than in office, I believe indeed that we are.
But Saddam Hussein was a unique threat, and the world is better off without him in power.
What we did in Iraq was the right thing to do. It was hard to do. It took a long time. There were significant costs involved.
It was the right thing to do, and the world is a safer place for having that message.
Yes or no, did the Iraq War make America safer?
Yes, absolutely. Can you imagine what the world would be like with Saddam Hussein in control of the third largest oil reserves in the world, in the heart of the Middle East?
These guys are psychopaths. Look at them. Did you hear the porky pig of politics over there, Karl Rove, with his last statement? What was Saddam Hussein in charge of, the third largest oil reserves in the Middle East? It's none of our business. You don't attack foreign countries because you want their goods and services. Or maybe imperialists do, and immoral people like you, porky pig. This is disgusting. You want to know how America could come back? People ask me all the time. It's very simple. Do what the founding fathers suggested. Stay out of foreign entanglements. No, Iraq is not better off without Saddam Hussein, and neither is the rest of the world, because from Iraq also came Al-Qaeda, more of Al-Qaeda. And where is Al-Qaeda now? Oh, they're over there in Libya. You remember Libya? That was the place that Chicken Hawk Cameron, Sarkozy, and Obama were going to free up to get rid of that dictator, Gaddafi. And now look what happened. Al-Qaeda's in charge over there. Now they're destabilizing Syria. This is madness. And the madmen are in control. Oh, a great little story coming out in the Financial Times today. China is doing a big deal with Iraq. Another big deal for China. While the United States wages war, China wages business. And they're waging business right here in the good old USA. Yeah, you remember that news last week? China's buying up Smithfield. Yeah, the biggest pork producer in the United States, or one of them. Yeah. And what else is China buying up? Oh, even buying up Club Med. They're buying up the world. Oh, the Prime Minister Xi, he is down in the Caribbean now, making deals all over the region. While America, what are they doing? We got John Kerry, the ketchup king, you know, Heinz's little boy, going all over the world, talking about more war with Syria, and how we have to support the rebels, and how we're sending more troops into the area. And now talking about expansion into Asia. And when I come back, we're going to talk more about pigs, porks, and rats.
Hi, Ted Anderson, president of Midas Resources. With over 30 years of experience in the precious metals business, I can tell you without a doubt, we are facing the most dangerous and volatile times, not just in the United States, but worldwide. Peace of mind is gold and silver. Now is the time to invest in gold. When it comes to bullion coins, our prices are competitive and the closest to melt. If it's numismatics you're looking for, we have some of the best deals out there. Visit MidasResources.com today or go to Infowars.com and click on the link to see our daily specials. Here's an example of one of our long-term specials we've been offering for more than a year. 2 silver dollars from the turn of the last century, plus 2 powerful films, The Obama Deception and The American Dream. We also add in the book Dishonest Money, all for $72 and free shipping. The most trusted name in precious metals is Midas Resources. Call 1-800-686-2237 or go to Infowars.com. I'm Ted Anderson with Midas Resources.
We are now only entering the edge of a global financial superstorm, the likes of which the planet has never seen. Here in the United States, the private Federal Reserve is giving more than $85 billion of taxpayer money a month to themselves and other offshore foreign banks. And the worst part is, we have to pay the bank's interest on the money we give them. There is now a race between the global central bank mafia cartels to see who can devalue their country's currencies the fastest. We are already seeing big increases in inflation at the grocery store and the gas line. This will eventually lead to hyperinflation. More than a dozen top globalists like George Soros have been buying record amounts of gold while at the same time bad-mouthing it to the public. Don't just listen to what they say. Watch what they do. For more than 6,000 years of recorded human history, gold has been the ultimate hedge against uncertain times and inflation. Before investing in metals, it is important to do your own research and find a reputable company. Midas Resources has the highest Better Business Bureau rating of an A+. Unfortunately, very few precious metal companies can boast that. Midas Resources has assembled one of the most educated, researched, and professional teams of brokers in the industry. The evidence is overwhelming. In uncertain times, gold and silver is safe harbor. Now is the time to invest in gold. Call 800-686-2237, and Midas Resources will mail you 10 reasons to own gold absolutely free. No shipping. It's absolutely free. And finally, Ted Anderson wants to challenge you to find any deal that comes close to his 2 silver dollars at cost with free shipping, with 2 free films and a book for $72. That's more than $160 value for $72, shipping included. Click the link at Infowars.com to go to the MidasResources.com specials page. Brought to you by MidasResources.com and Ted Anderson, the trusted name in precious metals.
Hey, this is Gerald Celente, and I'm back, and I'm happy to be a host on the Alex Jones Show as he's over there exposing the Bilderberg bullies who are taking control of the entire globe. It's a takeover. The multinationals are in control. And now it's coming back right here to the United States. Even the Chinese are grabbing a piece of the action. As I mentioned, they're buying Smithfield up, one of those big pork producers, and a lot of labels out there that you're all familiar with. Here's a story in today's New York Times. The self-proclaimed paper of record, which I like to call the toilet paper of record. Chinese bid for U.S. pork had links to Wall Street. You see what I mean? That is a BS line. How nice they say it. How about a criminal operation where the mafia is all working together to pull off another big deal that's going to screw the people short-term, long-term? That would have been more appropriate, but I digress. Let me move on. When a Chinese company bid $4.7 billion last week to take over Smithfield's, America's biggest pork producer, the deal was announced by the company's Chinese executives. But behind the bid was a group of savvy investors. Savvy investors, you know what that means? Savvy investors is a BS line for the guys in that are doing the deal in a rigged game, that know how it's going to fall out and put all their bets down as the suckers stand around the table thinking they're going to win the game. It's an inside deal, but we'll call them savvy investors because that's nice and proper. And global deal makers, again, a BS word, who hold a substantial stake in the Chinese company. Oh, and you know who those global deal makers are and savvy investors? Goldman Sachs, the Goldman Sachs gang, yeah. CDH Investments, Singapore's sovereign wealth fund, and New Horizon Capital, a private equity firm founded by the son of the former Chinese Prime Minister, Wen Jiabao. You get it? The group controls nearly half the shares of Shungai International, much of which was acquired about 7 years ago by helping privatize the company that had been run by a state-owned meat processor. It's all inside deals. Privatization, by the way, that too is white shoe boy language for selling expensive public assets to your buddies on inside deals for pennies on the dollar. So here you got it. The Chinese buying Smithfield. This company, by the way, is a huge pork producer. Now check this out. These are the Chinese. Rat meat and Chinese food safety. This was only May 12th. It isn't ancient history. The latest food scandal in China, which has seen rat meat passed off as lamb, has raised more questions about food safety in the country. Okay? And then there's that bird flu thing going on. And now people also forgot, this is from March 20th, the number of dead pigs pulled out of the Hangpu River in Shanghai crossed 10,000 since the city government started fishing out the pig carcasses about 2 weeks ago. Now, let me get this straight. They got pigs floating down the Hong Po, and now they're taking over the biggest pig producer in the United States. What are we going to have now? Pigs floating down the Potomac? I mean, that's all it is. Pigs to pigs. I think they should change, the symbols of the Democratic and Republican parties. The elephants are the pigs, and the Democrats are the rats. That's right. The Democrats are the rats that began to sell America out full-time with Bill Clinton's NAFTA. And, of course, the elephant pigs, they started, paving the deal with Nixon playing ping pong over there in China to get the deals rolling. So now you could see what's happening. As I said, as the United States wages war, China wages business. And now they're taking over America. There's another side to the Chinese pig story and those gluttons that sold out Smithfield. You see, the Chinese food, I love it, by the way. You go into a health food store, this is one of my favorite. I don't eat corporate food. And I'm Italian, I like to cook, and I have a wonderful recipe that I make with broccoli and pignoli nuts and olives, orchietti, nice fine olive oil, and a couple of other ingredients like capers. So I like pignoli nuts. I go into the health food store. The pignoli nuts come from China. Oh yeah, guaranteed to be organic. And I got a bridge for you to buy over there in Brooklyn. And I'll give it to you at a good price. The Chinese, once they have established their companies in the United States, now could be bringing in more of their crappy products and sell it to us and pass it off whatever they want. Oh, and by the way, only about 2% or less of imported product is looked at and tested by the FDA and the Agricultural Department. So virtually nothing is being looked at. And by the way, as a trend forecaster, what you look at when you look at this trend is to see what the opportunities in food, natural, as in natural news, natural food, natural healing. That is the future. Entrepreneurs understanding that not everybody watches the Kardashians. Not everybody tunes in the Cartoon News Network, CNN, the most trusted name in news. So there are a lot of people that are very concerned about their health. And health is going to continue to be one of the biggest motivators for profit opportunities among those who look for whole health healing, as myself, to be the major trend as we continue to move into the 21st century and continue to see a population that's aging and a very sizable segment of it looking to age healthy. Because in the words of Mr. Boogie, you got to boogie before the lights go out, because tomorrow is iffy. So you need to stay in good health to boogie now, because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Health, nutrition, fitness. And by the way, there is a renaissance already taking place. And the renaissance is in food. Break the change. You hear me say it all the time. Now check it out. Use your head. If the Chinese are going to be taking over the nation's largest pork producer, and they're being taken over by a company that is already one of the largest pork producers in the world, guess what you're going to get at those chain food places and all that fast food crap that you eat? you're going to get Chinese pork. It's already disgusting food, the way agribusiness has destroyed it and what they've done to these poor animals, these inhumane conditions. Now you can guarantee it's even going to get worse. So remember, the future is in food. You know, talking about China, by the way, little note that comes out, kind of things you look at for as a trend forecaster. And this, again, this is over the weekend. The news doesn't come out very big. It's buried in the second section of the Financial Times, way down on the bottom. Iron ore route amid mounting concern over China demand. Iron ore prices suffered their sharpest fall in more than a year this week, as steel traders and mills rushed to dump their stocks amid fears over the outlook for China demand. So things are slowing down globally. Again, the only way they're going to pump the markets up is by pumping money into them. And the more money they pump in, the higher gold prices should go. And again, we're not only looking at problems in the United States. Hey, over the weekend, you know, as they were talking about stupid crap on CNN and continue to do so, or on MSNBC, you know, mindless news for nobody, and CBS and ABC, etc., a little story came out. Anti-austerity protests held across Europe. Gee, I wonder why. Demonstrations take place in Greece, Spain, Portugal, and Germany as anger against continent-wide austerity pressures grows. These are not austerity pressures. These are robbing the people to give the money to the people that have all the money already. That's what austerity measures are. Austerity measures means raising taxes, cutting services, killing your pensions and benefits, and increasing the age of retirement until after you die. And I'm sick of hearing that term, entitlements. Social Security is not an entitlement. Medical benefits are not an entitlement. Just to get this straight, for anybody that's too stupid to read or too deaf to hear, we put tons of our money that they steal from us, from every damn paycheck, in Social Security and federal taxes. And then when it's time for us to get it back, they say, screw you. They're entitlements. And we'll give them back to you if we feel like it. But meanwhile, we're going to give you less back than we promised. And you know why? Because the pigs and the rats are in control, the Democrats and the Republicans. I'm a political atheist, as you know. I don't believe in any of these religious political parties. Politics has become a religion, and I don't bow to political gods. Oh, you know that guy Dingle you got over there that's been screwing you people over there in Michigan all these years? The cat's going on to his 57th year. 57th year as a public servant. A public servant. Hey, Dingle, I got some toilets to get cleaned. Public servant. These guys are just sucking off the public tit their entire life. They never work a day in their lives. And there are loads of them. Loads of them. Just look through Congress. I want to see term limits. Enough of this baloney. The same thing goes on around the world. It's no different over here. As I speak, they're demonstrating over there in Turkey. Yeah, you know that place that wants to get into the European Union all the time, but they never let them. But always when they need soldiers to kill and NATO troops, boy, the Turks are on the front line doing that work. They were in South Korea rather. They were in Vietnam. They were in Iraq. Oh, yeah. Always waging war, but they're not quite in the money game yet. Well, they're having their problems there too. Here's the headline from the Financial Times. Turkey's protests reignite. Yep. In a series of television appearances following the occupation of Taksim Square, Recep Erdogan, that's the prime minister, dismissed protesters across the country's biggest cities as looters. He described Twitter as a curse and branded anyone who drank alcohol an alcoholic. Yeah, you look at this photo of these protesters. They certainly don't look like looters, alcoholics, who have been cursed by Twitters. You couldn't have more middle-class looking cats in your life. But to make this point, Erdogan says many protesters say that his authoritarian tendencies on the part of his regime are the root cause of the scale of discontent, citing measures such as a new law to restrict the consumption of alcohol. Quote, "I do these things because I love all my citizens. I want them to get rid of their bad habits." Right, now you get it? I do these things because I love all my citizens. Hey, Junior, see if you can handle this one. How about doing what your citizens tell you to do? Could you handle that? No. None of them can handle it. Look what goes on. Every time these cats come out, man, they roll out the red carpets, whether it's the presidents, the prime ministers, the chancellors, you name the country. They got enough flunkies standing around saluting and blowing trumpets. You want to cut back the budget and save money, put these people to work. Why do they got to roll out a red carpet? Listen, the next time I come on the Alex Jones Show, I want trumpets. You guys stand up and salute. Who made this crap up? And that's what's going on, and it goes back to Bilderberg. They're all better than we are. They tell us what to do. The New World Order has taken over, and you don't have to look behind the curtains to see it. It's the banking order. It's the money junkies, and it's the military-industrial complex. Hey, our new Secretary of Defense, he's over there now talking about America expanding into Asia with its, quote, pivot Asia operation. How about pivoting back home? Check the number out. Over $6 trillion, that's with a T, has been spent on the Afghan and Iraq war. Bring the money home.
As we saw in Katrina, and as we are watching now in New York and New Jersey, the federal government can't and won't help you in a crisis. FEMA ran out of water and MREs in days. Electricity is still off to over 1 million people. The Red Cross, who is quick to beg for money, is now slow to react. Don't put it off any longer. Get prepared today. While you're on InfoWarsShop.com, check out these other great preparedness items. The Aquapod Kit lets you store up to 65 gallons of water in your bathtub. The Pocket Socket provides you with manual electricity for small electronics like your cell phone. The Life Straw is great for your bug-out bag. And check out our complete line of Interfood products for great tasting and nutritionally dense foods that have a great shelf life. If you are looking to secure your home in a crisis, you can order Strategic Relocations, the film, a great companion to the book Strategic Relocations 3rd edition, and The Secure Home by Joel Skousen. When the time to perform arrives, the time to prepare has already passed. Get prepared now, so if a crisis strikes your home, you and your family will be secure. Go to InfoWarsShop.com.
Thank you for having me back, Alex Jones. All the best of good fortune over there in Bilderberg, exposing the global takeover by the New World Order, the banking order, the money junkie order, and the military-industrial complex. And as I was saying as we went into break, imagine $6 trillion spent on the Afghan and Iraq wars for nothing, to only destroy two countries and destroy the lives of millions of people, including our troops, who have lost their lives, their limbs, many of their minds, committing suicide and getting very little when they come back. I want our money back in America. I believe in what the Founding Fathers stood for. No foreign entanglements. And there's going to be more foreign entanglements. As I was mentioning, our Secretary of State, Chuck Hagel, is over there pushing for Pivot Asia. Singapore, U.S. Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel toward the U.S. Navy's small combat ship, the USS Freedom. Boy, what did they ask Orwell to leave notes to name these things after he passed away? Like Patriot missiles? You know, I love that one, too. The first of a new class of littoral warships recently deployed to Asia to partner with allies in the region. Oh, yeah, allies like Japan. You remember them, yeah. Tora, yeah, that Japan. The Pearl Harbor Japan, our allies. Anyway, his visit to the ship on Sunday comes amid nagging questions about the cost and viability of the roughly $34 billion program. And the Pentagon buying 42 pieces of this crap. You know how much junk that they keep making and throwing away? When I wrote Trend Tracking back in 1988, the government had already spent $13 trillion on the Cold War. General Dwight D. Eisenhower warned us that the military-industrial complex was robbing us of the genius of our scientists, the sweat of our laborers, and the future of our children. It's right here in black and white. It's being robbed. And what they're also talking about, UK to ship arms if Syria talks fail. This is from the Financial Times. Britain and France this week forced through an amendment to a UN arms embargo that opened the door for supply of weapons to the opposition forces. In recent weeks, the U.S. has secretly undertaken significant lobbying of EU member states in order to get the EU arms embargo amended, the officials said. Hey, you know where this comes from? No, not the World Socialist newspaper, not the Progressive, not Counterpunch, the Financial Times. It's as obvious as that. The U.S. is setting us up for a new war in Syria. And now they're talking about a no-fly zone. Yeah, you know what that is. You remember that one in Libya. A no-fly zone means they bomb the hell out of the government that's in control. And you listen to what every one of the prostitutes repeat from the government officials: Assad has to go. I say if they want him to go, any of those officials that want him to go take him out and leave us out of your psycho trip. World leader death match. Obama wants Assad out. Let's put him in the arena and let him fight it out and keep us out of it, like the real warriors used to do. I want to thank Alex Jones again. And remember, please look us up at trendsjournal.com. The Trends Journal, the only place you'll get history before it happens.
Visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the site, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.